नमस्ते बिटिया, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया। Myself, JVN Dr. Astha Sikarwar, Assistant Professor, Department of Organ of Medicine, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today's topic is from JT Kent Philosophy. The unprejudiced observer notes only change of state as shown by symptoms. As we already discussed, who is unprejudiced observer? Now, proceed. As explained by Hahnemann in Organon in Aphorism, the unprejudiced observer, well aware of the futility of transcendental speculation which can receive no confirmation from experience, be his powers of penetration ever so great, takes note of nothing in every individual disease except the changes in the health of the body and of the mind which can be perceived externally by means of the senses, that is to say, he noticed only the deviations from the former healthy state of the now deceased individual, which are felt by the patient himself, remarked by those around him, and observed by the physician. The word prejudice means a judgment or opinion formed on a subject without being an in-depth study. Observation is done by the inner sense of the physician and not only with the five physical senses. Physician must know who is a healthy person and his economy. He takes note of every individual disease, the changes in the health of the body and the mind, makes use of objective and subjective symptoms to form a totality. Dr. Kent speaks about unprejudiced observer is the one who notes only change of state as shown by symptoms. Hahnemann does not speak of changes of tissues or changes in the organs but changes of state. All these perceptible signs represent the disease in its whole extent, that is, together they form the true and only convincible portrait of the disease. The teaching of this paragraph is that the symptoms represent to the intelligent physician all there is to be known of the nature of a sickness, that these symptoms represent the state of disorder, that sickness is only a change of state, and that all the physician has to do is correct the disorder state. Hahnemann, it seems, would say that it is great folly for a man to look into the organs themselves for the purpose of establishing a theory to find out whether the stomach makes the man sick or whether the stomach makes the liver sick, and such like. We can only end in theory as long as we think that way. So long as we set the mind to thinking about a man's organs and how these things are brought about, we are in confusion. But not so when we meditate upon the symptoms of the sick man as fully representing the nature of the disease after these have been carefully written out. Hahnemann starts out in this paragraph by speaking of unprejudiced observer. It would almost seem impossible to find at the present time one who could be thus described. All men are prejudiced. Man is fixed in his politics, fixed in his religion, fixed in his ideas of medicine, and because of this prejudice, he cannot reason. Men of the present day cannot recognize law, and hence they are prejudiced. But when men have authority on which they can rest, then they get rid of their prejudices. In homeopathy, the law and its principle must be accepted as authority. When we know these, it is easy to accept them as authority, but seeing they are not known, there is no authority and everybody is prejudiced. In this paragraph, Hahnemann does not speak of changes of tissue or changes in the organ, but change of state. Man could see and feel tissue changes, but these do not represent to the intelligent physician the nature of disease or disease cause. They only indicate that because of the disorder within certain results have followed. The prejudiced observer can see that pathology does not represent the nature of the disease because numerous so-called diseases can present the same pathology and the same phenomena. The trouble is that there are so few unprejudiced observers. To get rid of our prejudices is one of the first things we must do in the study of homeopathy. Even law will deceive if man is of prejudiced mind, because then he misreads the law and the doctrine, and when things are called black they look to him white. Every image is inverted in his prejudiced mind, because he realizes only with his senses and sees with his eyes and feels with his fingers only the appearance of things. Just as we say that the sun rises judging from our eyes, although we know from our intelligence that it does not rise. If we believe our senses only, we will accept all the notions of man. If the senses are invariable, man would agree, but they are variable, and no two men will agree in everything. For just as man's observation differs, so different notions and theories will be established. We must try to get rid of the prejudice that we have been born with and educated into, so that we can examine the principles and doctrines of homeopathy and seek to verify them. If you cannot put aside your prejudice, the principles will be followed to you. The prejudiced observer is the only true scientist. He perceives in each individual affection nothing but changes of state. The changes of state are such as are observed by the patient when he says he is forgetful, that his mind does not operate as it did, that he is often in a state of confusion, that when he attempts to deliver sentence, a part of it goes away from him. The idea passes away, or that he is becoming irritable where he was pleasant, that he is becoming sad whereas was cheerful before, that there are changes in his affections, in his desires and aversions. These things relate to states, not to diseased tissues, but to a state of disorder or want of harmony. Dr. Fink expresses it as distunment. After the patient has related everything he can about his change of state, the physician may be added by information from outsiders, from relatives who look upon the patient with goodwill, who wish him well. After the physician had written down all the information in accordance with the direction of aphorism 85 for the taking of the case, he then commences to observe as much as he can concerning the disorder, but more particularly those things which the patient would conceal or cannot relate or does not know. Many patients do not know that they are awkward, but they do peculiar and strange things in the doctor's office, things that they would not do in the healthy state, and these are evidences of change of state. The physician also notes what he sees, notes, orders, the sounds of organs, chest sounds, intensity of fever by his hand or by a thermometer, etc. And when he has gone over this entire image, including everything that can represent the disease, he has secured all that is of real value of him. There is nothing in the nature of diseased tissue to point to a remedy. It is only a result of disease. A state of disorder represents in its nature to man by sign and symptom, and these are the things to be prescribed upon. Tissue changes do not indicate the remedy, and so as physician we must learn to examine symptoms which are prior to morbid anatomy, to go back to the very beginning. Our remedies appeal to man before his state has changed into disease ultimates, and these remedies do not change because morbid anatomy has come on. They apply as much after tissue changes as before it. If we don't know what the beginnings are, we cannot in an intelligent way treat the endings. In a footnote, Hahnemann says, I know not therefore how it was possible for physicians at the sick bed to allow themselves to suppose that, without most carefully attending to the symptoms and being guided by them in the treatment, they ought to seek and could discover only the hidden and unknown interior, what there was to be cured in the disease, etc. The physician cannot know too much about the endings of the disease. He should become thoroughly acquainted with the tissues in all conditions, but to study these with the idea that he is going thereby to cure sick folks, or that the things he picks at such times are going to be applied in making prescription, is a great folly. It is astonishing that physicians should accept to find out by postmortem and examination of organ what to do for sick folks. Physical diagnosis is very important in its own place. By means of physical diagnosis, the physician may find out the changes in the organ, how far the disease has prognosed or progressed, and determine if the patient is incurable. It is necessary also in supplying information to boards of health. It may also decide whether you should give curative or palliative treatment. But the study of pathology is separate and distinct thing from the study of materia medica. Now, while the changes in symptoms are the only things that can tell the physician what the patient needs, and while those signs and symptoms relate to change of state and not to change of tissue, still there are signs that relate to tissue changes, and one who is acquainted with the symptoms may consider these as indicating a change of state. The physician must learn to distinguish these from the symptoms that portray the state of the patient. We are now prepared to see that if the patient is cured from cause of effect, he must remain cured. That is, if the because this order which is of the innermost will cause to flow into order that which is of the outermost, and finally the function of the body to become orderly. The vital force will cause tissue order because the vital force extends into the very outermost of the tissue, and the tissue government and order is a vital order. So if the cure is from cause to effect or from within out, the patient will remain cured. In incurable cases, the effects may be removed temporarily or palliated, but the patient himself has not been cured as to the cause, and owing to the fact that the patient cannot be cured, the old changes will return and grow stronger because it is in the nature of chronic cases to increase or progress. Certain results of disease which remain after the patient is cured can be removed if necessary, but it is not well to remove them before the patient is cured. If a patient has a disease of the foot bones after a bad injury and the foot cannot be cured, first cure the patient, and then if the foot is so clumsy and useless, then he would rather have a wooden one, remove the foot. If you have to deal with a worthless honeycomb knee joint, the first cure the patient, and then if the knee can never be useful and the limb is so cold and the muscles are flabby, consider the question of replacing it with an artificial one. If the economy after being turned into health cannot cure the knee, nothing that can be done to the knee can cure it. Don't say that the patient is sick because he has a white swelling, but that the white swelling is there because the patient is sick. All the master homeopaths are agreed on the importance of the physician being an unprejudiced observer of the patient in his circumstance so that he can give the appropriate treatment. So, a true observer is the one who is aware of the uselessness of speculation and take note only of the sign and symptoms of the patient because the physician cannot see the vital force which produces the disease. So, to be a good homeopath, you should be an unprejudiced observer. This session powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapit Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention it in comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you.